we are live with a dog. What does a dog have to do with deer? Well, you might recognize this guy here, Bill Yoder, who's had his own encounters with big bucks.
A few.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. But what's the deal on the dog? We're going to do this segment on various stories about aspects of hunting and deer hunting that are kind of unusual. What's the deal on this dog?
Well, this dog here, they passed a law about 6 years ago. We could use leash dogs for tracking wounded deer. And this dog is especially out of Germany, and they're bred especially for tracking wounded deer and bear.
And what is it? It looks like a wiener dog.
Yep, it's a wire-haired dachshund. He's just 10 months old yesterday. You can tell his wire hair by his little beard and his long hair. It gives him a protection when they go through the briars and the burrs. And his big feet, look at the hair on his feet.
Oh, yeah. Now, this buck right there in that picture, that's Barry Wenzel or Jimmy?
Barry Wenzel.
And you tracked this deer in Iowa for him?
For him. The track was 2 days old.
Now look at this cute little dog. He has a story of his own about finding him.
We lost him. We was tracking a deer on October 31st. We lost him on the first deer we was working for. I fell down the riverbank along the Des Moines River, and he got away from me.
You mean with his leash?
He had a 30-foot leash. We have a mountain climbing rope leash, and he got away from me. And being he's only a puppy, he ain't minding real good yet. And ended up, we thought we checked all over for 5 days, and we put ads in the paper. And he finally, Veterans Day, the 11th, they called. He says, I got good news and bad news. He had wounded that buck and didn't find it, but he found the dog. So I went right down there the next day, and he was skin and bones. He's 28 pounds. He weighed 14 pounds, so he was 12 days in the wild. And within an hour, we went and looked for that buck and found that deer.
And how many bucks has he found this year?
He's 8 for 11.
Wow, that's great. Well, that's a story about a deer. Bill Yoder's friend, Daryl. It's not his other dog, Daryl, because his other dog is Sergio. Yeah, but that's a great story. You're a good boy. Yeah, you are. Well, Zach, who do we have next?
Well, Fred, we've been focusing on all of the entries in the state of Michigan, but we had one entry from the state of Illinois. We have Gerald Patrick, who drove all the way up here to share his story.
Well, actually, he didn't drive that far, did you?
Oh, no, not from here. Live close to home.
You see, Zach thought that in Illinois, you must live in Illinois.
No, I live in Shelby Township.
So why would you go to Illinois? Look at the bucks we have here from this state.
My brother-in-law talked me into leasing some property down in Illinois, and I took the opportunity, and good things happened.
But you know what? We had even bigger ones here from your area.
I know.
But there's something about going to another state, huh?
Yeah, I just figured I'd, like I said, increase my chances and hope for the best, and it did.
Well, very good. What's it cost to hunt down there with a non-resident license?
Fred, for the archery tag, it was like $250 approximately.
Wow.
And then the additional gun tag was like, I think, another $150 or $200. So,
well, son of a gun.
It wasn't inexpensive.
But we wanted to show what a Michigan hunter went down to Illinois and got, and we even have bigger ones here. But hey, congratulations. Good story.
Fred, I think our next one shows that perseverance pays off. Brian Fent from Montrose has an interesting story about the buck he took in Genesee County.
Genesee County buck. He mentioned something about patience.
Patience.
Are you a patient man?
Patient man. 30 years. My first deer.
30
years to get a deer. My first deer.
What,
Finally did something right.
What's the problem?
I don't know.
Have you seen deer?
Never at the right place at the right time.
Have you shot deer before?
I've seen deer, but they've always been in the opposite end of the farm than what I'm hunting at.
You have a farm.
Yes. Few deer.
You can corner these things.
Well,
you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Do you buy lottery tickets?
No.
Good. Don't. Bad move. 30 years, man finally gets himself a buck. And how big is it?
21-inch spread.
How many points?
9 point.
Longest time?
8 inches.
Very good. Brag it up, my man.
Oh, yeah.
This is what patience does. It pays off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred, I imagine this one's going to be interesting. From Ionia County, my information says here, a two-pointer from Portland, Douglas Pitch.
Doug, my man, this is the biggest spike that we've heard of this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Well,
I love them.
Do you?
That's why you're on.
Oh, good, good.
You make the 13-inch tines is what they are. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The symmetry. I don't know why people, chastise spikes and stuff, but this is gorgeous. I have a spike collection myself, but I don't even have one like this, and you do. Is this going to be mounted?
No, it's going to go to one of my grandkids, because my grandkids, I take them hunting with me, and they love to hunt, and I like to get them enthused, so every year I give them the buckhorns I get. So.
Well, good man. I like that.
Yep.
And be proud of that spike. I love it. That's the kind I want to get. Congratulations, Doug.
Well, Fred, I'm not sure on this next one. John Lawrence, all I've got here is big feet.
Big feet. There's all kinds of ways of measuring deer. I like the spikes. I don't have a problem with that, and nothing wrong with antlers, but look at these feet. Check them out. They are, I don't know if they're the world's record when it comes to feet, but look at it almost looks like, what do you call those things? Those kind of shoes that the, not clowns wear, but I guess they do.
Elves' feet.
Elves, good. Good, the peanut gallery is coming in handy here.
Fred, this is my personal gun rack.
Oh, and you put your gun on here?
Yes.
Isn't that something? And all 4 feet had these strange.
Yep.
Anybody have any ideas as to what caused this? Or
I heard he's a nooner. He just slept in the woods all day, and I've heard other stories.
I guess. Well, I don't know. But this is, it's certainly unusual. And this is something that nobody shoots a deer for. I don't know why they think the antlers are so cool when you got cool feet like this going around.
I seen his tracks the day before. And
What do they look like?
Monsters.
So you thought you had a moose or something, huh?
I didn't know what it was. No idea.
And you got this buck, and it was a buck with big feet. John Lawrence, that is very cool. That is great. Thanks for bringing it down.
Well, I'm fascinated to find out what the story is behind this one. I'm not sure if it was taken in Jackson County or not, or if that's where Doug Carl is from, but it says Windy Buck.
Yeah, this is what Tim Hayes called it. Tim, lift this thing up here. Now, I guess the story, don't you have a story with the something you saw on the internet?
Yeah, it was a big deer. I don't know how it's cued, but everything was coming straight out of its head. And it was really unique, and I thought, well, I'll never ever see a deer like this.
I wonder if we have a still store of that deer picture. Tim's Wild Antlers, it might be called, and see if it. We don't have that still store. Well, we do, but we don't. But anyway, that has got to be.
I never thought I'd see anything like it. It comes straight out of its head. It's
Oh, there it
very
is.
unique.
There it is. That's what you got on the
Well,
internet.
yeah, and I thought, wow, I'll never see anything like that. And then, a couple weeks later, Mr. Carl brings me in this, and it's like his son.
You got this in Jackson?
Jackson, Springport, on my buddy's farm. And when it come through, I didn't know what it was. I watched it for a while, and I didn't know. My buddy told me after I killed it, I shot the Christmas dog off the Grinch. But we've actually now seen another one just like it, working in
Really?
the same area, a little bit smaller. So obviously it's in the genes.
Oh, that's cool. I just love this stuff. Big feet, weird antlers. Oh, I bet there must be more out there like that. Well, thanks for bringing this down. That is great. Tim, thanks for flagging me on that. By the way, this mount is not done. Tim Hayes finishes his work sooner or later, right, Tim? Sooner or later. Okay, very good.
Fred, our next fortunate hunter, took his buck in Calhoun County. From Battle Creek, we have Preston Hicks.
And here is Preston with his frozen buck. What's the scoop?
I think you'll be appreciative that it is frozen.
Why? Because why? It's kind of gamey?
I think so. You could call it that.
You're going to have what's done as a European mount where the beetles eat the meat off?
Yes. I think it'll be attractive. We'll try it out, and if it doesn't, we'll get a shoulder mount.
Okay. Well, Preston, one reason I wanted to save you for this segment where we have more time. Now, this is something that I've never jumped into, and I want to ask Preston. He's allowed me to ask him if I can ask and talk about this.
If you let me say something.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Lisa, for letting me hunt, and thanks, Dick, for letting us use the property. That's it.
Okay.
Now you can do whatever you
There's the
want.
payoff. Okay. Preston saw your picture, said, hey, there's the black guy. Holy cow. last year we had no blacks on, or African Americans, as you prefer to call it, on Big Buck Night. We rarely have an African American come to a banquet or anything like that. Is that because hardly any minorities hunt?
Absolutely not. There are great numbers of minority hunters. I was raised hunting and fishing. I think you learn a lot of good life lessons hunting and fishing, and I think people will hunt where they feel welcome and safe.
And there is the entree to the story. Eric Sharp in the Detroit Free Press on December 2nd wrote an article after this incident in Wisconsin where the Asian guy, things got out of hand. We have never discussed this in the outdoors. I'd like to hold a symposium on not just minorities, women, all kinds of aspects that we don't talk about. How come nobody even mentions? Everybody says to me, yeah, I noticed you never have any blacks on the show. And I say, well, I don't even know how to talk about it. Do you think it would be worth it to have a symposium to kind of approach this issue? Because we need more people in hunting and fishing. They're dropping out. License numbers are going down. We can't afford to discourage anybody.
Well, I think the more people that you can get out and have hunt and fish responsibly, the better.
I agree. Will you help us with that symposium?
I'll do what I can.
Well, very good.
Thank you.
Preston, you're the man. I can't wait to... That isn't bad. That was Preston. Okay.
Fred, I think you're going to like the next story. We've got Holly Smith with her father, and it shows, I'm sure it's going to show the family tradition here of hunting.
Well, Holly, you just heard I just talked to Preston about the issue of African Americans and people in the outdoors that we don't see much. 30 years ago, I don't think you would have been here.
No.
When I worked on, well, yeah, not just you, but women. You know, when I worked on Morton F's Big Buck Nights back in the 1960s, it was a man's world.
Yes, it was.
Hunting was a man's world.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think that they felt that they wanted to do what we were doing.
Well,
get out and have the fun.
And I think we need to encourage everybody, all ethnic, gender, all that. And you being a young lady, you got a whomping large buck here.
I did. Actually, I seen a doe first at about 10 to 7. About 7:45, I seen a 4-point come out, and I was getting ready to shoot the 4-point. And then out of the corner of my eye, I seen this come out of the pines, and I get buck fever really bad. And
Well,
didn't know if I was going to hit it or not. I just closed my eyes and prayed that I hit it.
Your old man here told me, Earl, that people said to him, aren't you mad that your daughter got a bigger buck than you?
No, he's more excited than I was.
Yeah, I mean, what is this? People think there's still this macho male thing.
Oh, no.
Here's your buck.
That's right.
Be proud.
I am. It's good tasting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a contest out there,
No.
right?
That's right.
And we're glad to have women now in camp. I remember when it was, we don't want to have a woman in camp because we won't be able to tell the jokes we tell. Boy, they can put us under the table
Yes,
with
they
jokes.
can.
Oh, man. Anyway, that's the story here. Father-daughter hunting. Daughter gets the huge one. Dad gets this. We're still proud. Come on, let's open up the outdoors, lighten up on our ideas and include everybody. What do we have next?
Fred, our next successful hunter is Jaylena Zedan. I believe she got this in Montmorency County, 15 years old.
15 years old?
Yeah.
You're her
Mother.
Oh my golly. And you're what, 17? Holy
I'm not
cow.
telling.
Now, she is 15, which, we're talking about things that aren't cool outdoors. 15-year-old girls?
Yeah, most of us don't hunt, but I don't care, I'll hunt.
And how did you get into it?
My dad. I've been hunting since I was 3, so.
3. What do we have here, Mom?
Yep, she's been out here doing this since she was 3 years old, shooting a bow since she was 3 and gun since she was 5. But she's been out in the blind with us for that long, so.
Well, that's kind of funny. Was Dad here?
Dad didn't make it on this trip for Kids Weekend because he had to work. So the last 2 years, I took my nephew and a good friend of ours, Webb Wood, took our daughter out.
Now, hold it. How did you get into hunting?
From my husband.
Okay, so it kind of starts that way, but we like to see the girls and the ladies hunt. And this buck is how big?
He's 8 points, and I think he weighed about 140.
Does it matter?
No.
What? Now what is that around your neck? That looks like a bear claw.
Yeah, it's from my dad's bear. He got up north.
Wow. This girl is going to have a lot of inquiries of, you know, would you like to come hunting with me? This is really cool. I mean, but it's not cool for school, is it?
Yeah,
Nowadays?
it is.
It is? Great! Great! Now we got to move on to the next one. Well, thank you for coming down here and having this buck. The young ladies do it too. And now, not just young ladies.
Fred, the next couple of hunters we've got here for you, 12-year-old bow hunters. This is our future, Brandon Gross and Nolan Tappenden.
Let's see, Nolan, which one's Nolan?
I am.
You're Nolan.
Yeah.
Okay, Nolan, you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
You have freckles.
Yeah.
Everybody says you're a cute kid.
Yeah.
And you go out and kill deer like this?
Yeah. Got with my recurve too.
You do what?
Got with my recurve too.
With your recurve. This young man got this buck with a recurve bow. How many pounds?
35.
35 pounds. That is outstanding. At 12 years old, how far away was it?
9 yards.
7 to 9?
Yeah.
Man. And you are Brandon.
Yep.
And you got this with a bow?
Yep.
A compound?
Yep.
That is super. Who got you guys into hunting?
My dad.
The dad?
My dad.
Yeah, that's the way it is. And we got to encourage this because these are the future hunters. Well, actually, these are hunters right now who are hunting. They're 12 years old. But where do our future hunters come from? Now, this is a question that, that we need to talk about right now, guys, because you come from long lines of hunters. We have a woman named Tracy Wildermuth. She's Bob Lucina's niece, and she got a deer, and she had her little boy with her, or little girl with her. Did you know that? You don't know that story, do you?
I didn't know that story.
You don't know that story. Let's go and hear Tracy Wildermuth's story, and you're going to learn where our young hunters come from.
Okay.
Were you out there in the blind by yourself?
Yep, my husband drove me out.
And did you do any good?
Yes, I did. I got a 4-point.
Well, let's see that baby. 4-point. Wow, was this your first
That's my first buck.
deer?
Yeah, no, first buck.
Did
I've gotten 2 does. I've been hunting about 8 years.
Okay, so that was what time of day?
That was about 8:30 in the morning.
Huh. So your day was done.
My day was, well, kind of done.
Why? Anything else happened?
I had a baby at 6:03 p.m.
No kidding. You were 9 months pregnant.
Yep.
Was it due that day?
Yes, the due date was that day.
Holy cow. That's unbelievable.
And I started timing them about 8 o'clock, and they were about 5 minutes apart.
Oh, no.
I called my husband on the cell phone, and I think you need to come get me because I'm about done hunting. I didn't tell him. He was only about a mile away, and I didn't tell him why he needed to come get me. I was just done hunting. I'd sat long enough, and while I was waiting for him, this 4-point came out.
Oh.
I had a doctor's appointment at 10 o'clock, and by then it was around 9:30 or so, so we went to the doctor's appointment, and she said, well, I think you need to go to the hospital now.
Wow.
So that's where we headed.
So off you went.
Yep.
And that turned out well, I understand.
Turned out very well, yes. Beautiful little girl.
And here we have Papa Ryan with little,
Jessica Lee.
Jessica Lee.
you got the camo suit on.
Yep.
That's what she come home in even.
Wow. So you were ready to have another little hunter, get another little hunter going.
She'll be fine.
All right, wait a minute. She left out the very best part of the story, I think. She got so excited about this thing, and she had to go up to her doctor's appointment. And when she got there, and they told her to go to the hospital, she walked out of the doctor's office, and she looked at Ryan, and she said, well, I forgot my bag. And Ryan said, well, I'll go back and get your bag later. That's not important right now. And she said, well, I didn't get a picture with my buck. And he said, you've got to be kidding me. You mean you want to go home? And she said, well, just for a minute. So he took her home, and she had to sit on a stool and in between labor pains say cheese with her buck. So that, and she's got 4 or 5 pictures there with her buck before she would go and have her baby.
Look at that. She had no idea that she was on this hunt. And she was trying to get out.
Yep, she was trying to get out, and I told everybody she planned it that way. She wanted to go hunting that morning. So.
I guess. You know, you wonder if she will grow up to be a hunter.
In this family, she will, I'm sure.
Wow. Jessica, you're a cutie. Uh-huh. This is big buck night.